What is going on, guys? It's your boy Juicy, and in this video we're going to be doing a review of Frank Ocean's Blonde album. If this is your first time here, I would really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. We're a new channel and I want to get started doing consistent reviews and showing off my music taste. Before we move on to his album, I feel like it's pretty important to talk about who Frank Ocean is and why he's important. Frank Ocean is a hip-hop turned R&B artist. In my opinion, he is one of the most mystical yet inconsistent artists of the 2010s, purely due to the fact that his last album came out years ago and everyone is just like wondering where the next one is. Despite his discography being extremely small, he has one mixtape and 2 albums, and people just can't get enough of that. I've said this in the past to my friends, and I think this guy is one of the most visionary artists despite being so inconsistent. I feel like he has really unique ideas as an artist. You can tell there's some inspiration from Kanye West, Beyonce and Jay-Z, all of which he's worked with. This guy is so critically acclaimed that he's even worked with the likes of Tyler the Creator, A$AP Rocky and even Travis Scott. Something that is really important to mention is that his high point at the best is definitely his lyricism. Before he became an actual artist, he was actually a songwriter for the likes of Beyonce and Justin Bieber, I believe, and a few other artists. And obviously, if you don't know who they are, you probably do. They're big artists that have really shaped the cultural landscape of music. And I feel like when you know that Frank Ocean wrote a few songs for them, that really tells you a lot about how his lyricism is going to sound. This is a fun fact I don't think many people know. Frank Ocean is actually a pretty prominent user of samples. He has quite a few samples from MGMT, Coldplay, and even Radiohead. Since his most popular album coming out, Blonde, which we're about to discuss in this video, he's now resided in more of a fashion industry kind of area. Nobody really knows if he's quit doing music, if he's going to carry on. In my personal belief, I think he's going to continue doing music sooner than we think. I don't think it will be any more than 5 years, like at the maximum. I think he's got some good things to offer. I feel like he's been in the studio on the quiet, and I feel like generally he's not going to disappoint with his next drop. Okay, let's actually move on to the review now. I admit I was pretty late to this album. I listened to this possibly 1 or 2 years ago, so I was definitely late to the party considering it was released several years ago. When I first listened to this album, I didn't actually like it that much. I found that it was so abnormal and different that I couldn't really listen to it being a casual listen. I was thinking, how else am I supposed to listen to this? It's so strange, and I wouldn't really listen to this on a daily or in a car. Like, how am I supposed to enjoy this? And it had me so confused because I was fully aware that people were really claiming this to be like one of the best albums of all time, one of the best R&B albums of all time. In fact, I was surprised people were saying that this guy is the best artist of all time. I didn't really understand this album until I looked further into the lyrics. Through just 17 tracks, this album talks about and discusses love, heartbreak, loss of a loved one, loads of different emotional feelings, and I feel like that truly made me realize what it's about. I feel like this is an amazing album to listen to for listeners who just want to heal or relate to something. Once I knew this, I loved it instantly. Beforehand, I was just so confused. I didn't know what was going on, and wasn't really listening too much to the lyrics. I was just listening to the actual music and the vibe of it. When you look into the lyrics, that just changes the whole game of how you think of this album. I feel like it does something to you on the inside that makes you so sad yet so happy. Not many albums capture that enough. I said this with my Prince Purple Rain album review, and I'll say it again with this one. Every time you listen to it, you just hear something new. You listen to something new in the production, something new in the lyrics, something new in the flow. There's just something different that pokes out to you at each listen. I've listened to this at least like 3 or 4 times, and I can tell you right now, every single time it just gets better and better for me. Frank's raw talent and storytelling abilities easily makes it so someone can relate to everything within this album. Yet the production still remains to be so beautiful. You can tell that it had a lot of care and thought into it, even if there is no song structure somehow. Throughout the runtime of this album, Frank Ocean constantly goes back to a past time in his life. He goes back to a form of nostalgia that maybe some of us can relate to. Every single memory he talks about feels so detailed, and you actually really get to know the guy at the end of the day. Despite him being so mysterious in real life, when you listen to his music, you actually get to know him. Something that further shows Frank Ocean's pure skill and creativity is how this whole album shows his complete personal experience, just like Kanye West's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. At the same time, it's an album that just the whole world can relate to in some form or another. I personally believe that perfect balance is the best way for an artist to approach an album, and this guy just does it perfectly. From front to back, Frank Ocean's voice is absolutely mental. I can't even say enough. He's got like the best voice I've ever heard. If I really had to go into something I dislike about this album, which there is unfortunately, is that some of the songs sort of drag on a bit too long and take a while to get to the main chorus. For example, in Skyline 2, the song just takes a while to get into and personally makes it a bit less enjoyable. Nevertheless, I really love that song. This effect also occurs in some other songs, however, I feel like the chorus works well enough to actually pull on your heartstrings rather than drag out. So I'm going to have to give this album a 9 out of 10. I want you guys to let me know in the bottom of my video, did you like this album? Did you not like it? Have you heard it? Definitely check it out. It's definitely a unique album which I feel like a lot of people should experience, whether it's your parents, whether it's anyone from any generation, to be honest. It's definitely an emotional roller coaster. There's a lot of insights and research that you can do that really just shows how much detail this guy put into it, especially his lyrics, because there's a lot of double meanings that I was not fully aware of when I first heard. But I definitely recommend this to anyone who's a fan of R&B, rap, and even if you're not a big fan of music, I feel like this is fairly accessible to get into. However, I feel like you would definitely have to read the lyrics whilst you're listening to it for the first time, otherwise you're just going to miss out on the whole point of the album, not really see it for what it truly is. If you made it this far to the end of the video, I thank you so much. This was an amazing album to review. I should have my next video out soon. If you liked this video, please like and please subscribe. It really helps me out a lot with just a small channel. I'm going to sign off now, guys. I hope you guys have a good weekday, and yeah, your boy Juicy out.